for my second pick, another one that has moved, another one that I'm happy that I already bet, because even as recently as yesterday, Titans 5.5-point dogs against the Chiefs. Today, they are 4.5-point dogs, and I'm still backing the Titans. I will say, a little bit less comfortable at 4.5 than I was at 5.5, maybe about a point less comfortable than I was when it was sitting at 5.5. But here's the thing, KC. Why do we think the Chiefs are going to slow down Titans offense? Why would we ever think that's going to happen with what the Chiefs have shown us all season? I mean, we're halfway through the season. Teams are what they've shown us basically at this point. And of course, there's some shades of gray there, and there is some nuance that maybe they're not exactly what they've shown, but for the most part, we got to take what we've seen at basically face value, and especially when it's as strong a trend as the Chiefs defense has shown us this season. Last in the league in defensive APA. Even after last week against Washington, when they held them to just 276 yards of offense, still allowing a league high 6.71 yards per play. They've just been really inefficient on defense. They have let teams rack up these big plays through the air and on the ground. 30th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 30th in yards per rush allowed. And that's just not a recipe you want to bring into a game against Derrick Henry's offense when they also are able to play action as effectively and efficiently as they are. And so I just think that this is a game that I think the Chiefs win this game. I think the Chiefs could keep the Titans at semi-arm's length for most of the game. I mean, the Chiefs are going to be able to do everything the Titans offense is able to do and then some on the other side. But I just don't see why we should be comfortable backing the Chiefs laying this amount of points on the road against an offense that can do what the Titans can do. I mean, I don't care what they did against Washington last week. You're talking about a backup quarterback, the same compromised by injury Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin we talked about with your Packers bet. No Logan Thomas, no Curtis Samuel. Like, cool. They beat a backup quarterback who had two significantly compromised offensive players and two other key offensive players out. Like, that is not an impressive defensive performance. Every other game this season, they have been really beaten up by the offense that they've played against. And I don't think that there's any reason to think the Titans can't do the exact same thing. Give me the Chiefs to win relatively comfortably in terms of just I feel no issue with the Chiefs winning this game. But I think this is something that's got field goal written all over it. Chiefs 37, Titans 34, something along those lines. This defense needs to show us a little bit more against a non-injury depleted offense before we think they're going to hold any competent offense under 30 points.
Yeah, and Tractor Cedo's really hard to stop. He can't keep up at Henry can't keep up at the pace he's at as far as carries wise, but he's not wore out yet. And we saw that last week. He is absolutely not wore out. And the thing is, the Titans know, I mentioned this before, I think I mentioned this last week, that the Chiefs, if they get into shootout games the past 4 years, that's where each team scores 24 more points. They're 18-12. If they don't get the shootout, they're 29-3 now. That's, you need to get in a high scoring game with them, which means the Titans are going to have an aggressive game plan. They're going to know they need to keep the Chiefs in that kind of game plan. And the Titans are one of those rare teams that they can run the ball and still get into a shootout because Henry's that good. If they, most teams that run the ball, of course, they're going to get the low scoring games. No, not the Titans. They can go ahead. They can rack up 31 if he's on his game. The only concern I have is A.J. Brown's having the digestive issues. You've got Julio Jones banged up. I mean, if they're not there, it does cap what the Titans can do in their passing game potentially, but I think at least one of them can go. And plus, Westbrook-Ikhini's doing fine as a backup, and I love their matchup too at Ferkshire. I think that their tight end could make people remember Jonnu Smith. So I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, another one of my concerns for this one is just that, like, I could be basically right, but instead of 37-34, it could be 38-31, right? Like, the Titans offense can do everything I'm expecting it to do on the Chiefs defense, and the Chiefs could just be a touchdown better instead of a field goal better. Like we said, there's no reason to think the Titans are going to slow down the Chiefs whatsoever in this one either. So maybe the over is a better play. That's sitting at 57.5, though. It's a lot of points, even when we look at these two offenses and these two defenses. So I'll still trust the Titans to keep this one close, keep it in 4.5, and maybe, just maybe, give me a little bit of a window. If they get up early, maybe I can middle this if the Titans get up early and it comes down a little bit and then get on the Chiefs side of things. So something also to consider with this game.